What's up guys, Lon here from Android Authority, and we're taking a look at the LG V10 versus the LG G4. And right off the bat, the first thing you're going to notice that's different between these two devices is the design and build materials. The V10 is basically sort of a G4 on steroids. It's made of a combination of stainless steel along the sides and Duraskin on the top, bottom, and back panel for enhanced durability against drops, and just a better overall in-hand feel due to the soft and grippy nature of the Duraskin. The G4, on the other hand, is made of plastic or a combination of plastic and leather, which still feels really nice, but you can definitely tell that LG put a much bigger emphasis on higher quality materials with the V10. Another thing you'll notice is that the V10 is also a lot larger in comparison to the G4, mostly in height, and that might put some people off, especially if you're concerned about one-handed usability, and in that case, the G4 is definitely much easier to use in one hand, and the curve of the G4 provides for better ergonomics, whereas the V10 just maintains a standard flat profile. LG also stepped up the security on the V10 by adding a fingerprint sensor into the rear-mounted power button, something that the G4 did not have, and with so many OEMs adding this feature into their flagships, it was only a matter of time before LG joined in on the party, and the fingerprint sensor was also partly why the power button received a slight makeover to a much more circular, flatter key. Both of these phones feature Quad HD IPS LCD displays with 5.7 inches on the V10 or 5.9 inches if you add in the secondary display, and the G4 has a 5.5 inch screen. They're both really great looking displays with great color reproduction and contrast, so the only real differentiator here is the screen size and the secondary display on the V10, which can show you notifications, the time, weather, and can also be used as a multitasker to quickly switch between apps. The specs between these two phones are pretty much identical. The V10 and the G4 are both being powered by the Snapdragon 808, with the only difference being the RAM. The G4 comes with 3 gigs of RAM, whereas the V10 has an extra gig of RAM for a total of 4 gigabytes, but performance between these two devices are more or less going to be the same. For storage, the V10 comes with 64 gigabytes standard compared to the 32 gigs on the G4, but both support micro SD card expansion with up to 200 gigabytes on the V10 and 128 gigs on the G4. Underneath is a 3000 mAh battery on both, and we already know the G4 has pretty decent battery life, and hopefully we'll see something similar out of the V10. Another leg up that the V10 has is in the audio department. The V10 supports hi-fi audio for higher quality sound, so if better sounding audio is a high priority for you, the V10 shouldn't disappoint. Both phones are carrying the same exact cameras. It's a 16 megapixel sensor, f1.8 with optical image stabilization, and both have DSLR-like manual controls and the ability to shoot in RAW, but the V10 takes things a step further and brings those DSLR-like controls to the video side of things, which is going to give you much more flexibility and control when shooting high quality video. For the front camera, the G4 carries a more traditional setup with just one sensor at 8 megapixels, whereas the V10 is doing something a little bit different with 2 5 megapixel cameras on the front, which allows the V10 to switch between a narrower field of view and a wider field of view through the camera software, and also film footage simultaneously with all 3 cameras. Software-wise, you're looking at Android 5.1 on both with LG's GUI, so no real differences in the overall experiences here. They're both packing all the same LG features like knock on, knock code, and split screen multitasking, among many other LG features. LG says the V10 will be receiving Marshmallow either before year's end or early next year, and hopefully the story will be the same for the LG G4. But this has been a quick comparison of the V10 versus the G4. The V10 basically takes what made the G4 great and steps everything up a notch from the build quality, camera, screen size, full manual video controls, and a fingerprint sensor to boot. So if you passed on the G4 because it was missing something, then maybe the V10 has exactly what you're looking for. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up down below, and also subscribe to the channel, which is also down below, and keep it tuned here to Android Authority for more, because we are your source for all things Android.